knew there had to be ideas of resistance, manifest best in the guise of my distance. This persistence ends with a comma, or I can spell it out. I don't rap for no drama corps. Open heart, sore blood on my sleeves, but I can't stop the progress. No time to grieve. Get your act straight and maybe we'll be friends again. Till then, represent, this is next gen.
Number 1 is the fans, 2 is ourselves, 3 is the music, the content itself. Give a damn about dollars, man, we rather make sense. We are the next gen, this is the next gen. 1 is the fans, 2 is ourselves, 3 is the music, the content itself. Give a damn about dollars, man, we rather make sense. We are the next gen, this is the next gen. He made the name for the music and not vice versa. They lost sight, loud mouths all hurt us. Blame our own people and we end up getting burnt. Took the dream of a proud man and dragged it through the dirt. Bickering, fighting like a bunch of bitchy kids. And you wonder why the listeners still don't give a shit. Old hindsight's always 20/20. Well, I should've walked backwards and seen this shit coming. Can't believe I loved you, can't believe I fought for you. I just did what I thought the Godfather do. Lars says instead, make certain he retracts. Then you call it to a forum, stab it in the back. Et tu, Brute, you brought us shame. And all you so-called rappers soil the name.
Hello everybody, it's time to sit down, get comfortable, drink a cup of tea, because it's time for tea time. Before I get into what I'm going to be talking about today, I just want to announce something. On Thursday, I'll be doing a podcast. I decided to take the news thing that I did the other day on Final Fantasy XIV and make it into a full-fledged podcast. I've got some excellent co-hosts, so it will be, it'll be a good time. So hopefully it will be great and everything. I'm still trying to work out a few of the bugs at the moment, and that includes how to transfer the Skype conversation of the podcast into a recording. So I'll figure that out at some point in the next couple of days. However, on to my main point, and this might be a long rant, and I'm sorry, but this needs to be said. A couple days ago, DC had come out and said that they're going to change the cover to actually it's the variant cover of Batman number 41, which depicts the Joker and Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, on the cover. There's nothing wrong with them pulling the cover. However, shame on you, GamerGate. Shame on you. This is a cover that the majority of the comic book readership had problems with. And it's not because of the cover, what was on the cover, or anything like that. It was actually the timing of the comic. Now, if this had been a year ago under Gail Simone's run, there would be no problem, because the book was actually a mature title, and for a mature title, this would have flew right into there. And I have no doubts that Gail Simone had no problem with the cover at all, because heck, she even did Zero, which drove back into that, and actually added a lot of more stuff, and even had Death of the Family, where Joker got really creepy towards Batgirl, or heck, even her own brother was getting creepy towards Barbara Gordon. And this is from Gail Simone. So let's go over some of the stuff that you are saying that is not right here. Well, one, let's get over the fact that this has nothing to do with Gail Simone at all. That's right. She did not even know about it. She usually doesn't take interest in comics that she's not writing at the moment. And right now, she's not even writing Batgirl. So, I don't understand why people are blaming people. And this is getting to the point where you're becoming your own worst enemy. You are. I came and defended you like a week ago with some videos about, harassment and stuff like that, and now you're proving me false. Thank you, GamerGate. Thank you. And yes, I'm using the name now because I am no longer... I'm getting to the point where I'm getting so fed up with this movement that's making me regret being a geek and a nerd and, you know, everything. It's making me just almost physically ill, to the point where I don't want anything to do with the geek culture anymore. And coming from me, somebody who has a collection of PS2 games and comic books, this is getting ridiculous. But I digress, because you're probably just looking out for your own individual rights. However, let's get into another thing. This is because of SJWs and feminists why this cover is being changed. Again, false. It doesn't take a genius to look into stuff before claiming that the boogeymen are out to get you. And yes, the boogeyman is not out to get you this time. There was a lot of concerned comic readers who did not like the timing of this issue, of this cover. Like I said, had it been a year ago, or, when the Death of the Family was coming out, there was been no problem with this cover. The problem is the title is not that way anymore. The cover is going with a different demographic. And I don't care if you, I got into an argument on Twitter last night about this. And yes, I did understand your point. But the point I was trying to make is, it was not a lot of people, a lot of SJWs and feminists that were making this decision. It was the readership at large that decided to make this change. They didn't like the timing of the book. Again, it is not a factual statement to say this is all SJW and feminist work, because it was not. The next falsehood that was claimed is that this is going against artistic integrity. Okay. I'm sorry, but this is actually funny. Have you read comics lately? No, I'm asking this, okay? This is a serious question. Have you read comics, or are you just jumping in because it's the cool thing to do right now? And let me explain this, okay? Comics have a long tradition of having the editorial staff dictate what was going into books. Heck, 2 years ago, DC was under fire for firing Gail Simone. They ended up relenting because the majority of comic book readers wanted her back at the helm of Batgirl, because the title was doing really good under her writership. This was no SJW and feminist movement at the time. No. There is the readership. But because editorial wanted her out at the time, I can't say really what was all the behind the scenes stuff, but they did ask her back. Now you're asking me, well, how does this pertain to this? Okay, let's go to the more famous comic book story, One More Day. The writer of the thing has said that this book had nothing to do with him. It was all editorial. They changed stuff at the last minute, and they did like this. This happens all the time in comic books. So the comic book that you're actually reading, more likely, is not the result of the writer and the artist collaborating. It has to go through editorial. It has to go through a lot of processes to get to where it's at right now. So to say that this cover takes away the artistic integrity of the artist is plain and stupid. It really is. This has nothing to do with SJWs. It has no idea with feminists. This is an editorial decision. They decided they did not want the comic because a large portion of the readership said, we don't like this cover at this point in time. And I've talked to many comic book people, and they have said the exact same thing that I'm saying right now. Had it been at a different time, we wouldn't care about this cover. Had this been, like I said, had this been a year ago, cover would have stayed. But because of the perceived notion that it was SJWs and feminists, all of a sudden, I don't want, this is the next statement. Crying is what put this thing into perspective. It was due to the crying of people. This is why this comic was pulled. Actually, false. Again, there was no crying done. I did not lay on my bed and go, "Oh, I put in this comic out." No. We politely asked the artist and the publisher, DC Comics, can you please not put this cover out? For various reasons. However, the backlash that I'm seeing is more crying. Yes, you guys are crying about this. I've said this the other time in my thing, okay? In one of my other videos. This is becoming more and more about a bunch of whiny, bitchy kids than an actual movement anymore. Anything that happens, all of a sudden I see GamerGate chiming in with their uninformed thing that they say SJWs to keep doing. Because it's the cool thing to do. No, you're being a bitch. I hate to say this, but you are. You're becoming just like the people that you said that you were against. You're going into a groupthink mode, and anytime one of you guys get attacked, you all attack. Yes, I was attacked last night on my Twitter. And I actually laughed the entire time because a lot of it was uninformed, little irate idiots who did not know what they were talking about in the slightest. And this is just another one. Changing this cover will change every single other cover ever in the history of comics and in the future. All it has to do is one thing. You know what? That sounds crazy coming out of my mouth. Do you understand how crazy that is coming out of somebody's mouth? We let this in, this is going to happen. When has that ever happened? Well, if they change this, then this is going to happen. When has it ever happened? This is conspiracy mode. Oh, you let one Irish princess in, you're going to have a whole bunch of drunken Irish people. And I'm not trying to be racist. But this is the groupthink right now. You let one person in, and it's gonna pull all the other people in. No, this is actually racist talk. Well, if you change one thing, then everything else is gonna have to change. No. Did Marvel editorial budge on one more day? Nope. And look how good that turned out for them. They actually were going downhill a while in comic book sales. They've turned it around now with stuff like Spider-Gwen, and you know what? I'm going to have a whole new show about that starting tomorrow. Actually, I was going to plan on doing a comic book themed tea time anyway, where I was going to look at various comic books. And I don't think I'll do that tomorrow, actually. But for right now, comic books are at a really good place right now. They're doing exactly what they need to be to bring new readership in, while keeping the current readership in as well, into the loop as well. Has there been some misgivings? Yes, on both sides of the fence of Marvel and DC. But just because one cover has been changed doesn't mean that going forward all somebody has to do is bitch about a cover and it's going to get changed. Nope. The artist has even came in and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm changing it right now. Sorry." This has nothing to do with artistic integrity. This has nothing to do with SJWs and feminists. This has nothing to do with GamerGate. This is another reason why I've stayed neutral through this entire fiasco. And it is becoming a fiasco now. You guys are becoming the various things that you freaking hate. You have. I just gave you all the facts right now. You think any of it's going to be applied? Nope, it's all going to be ignored. Because people are going to say the same freaking things. Well, what's the difference between this and like having Jason Todd die horrifically? Jason Todd's still alive. If you're talking about that famous issue where Jason Todd died because the Joker killed him and then exploded him, okay, I'll give you that. However, you know, in comic books, and I'm talking about in comic reality, it's more like a Looney Tunes cartoon. They can fall from a big, huge cliff, get smacked with a piano in a boat, and still survive. Because comics. There's a whole contingency of characters that have died 4 or 5 times. Jean Grey's been dead the most of any other character. They keep bringing her back just to kill her off. You know, they've killed Nova and brought him back. They killed off Captain America, brought him back. Killed off Bucky, brought him back as the Winter Soldier. The only people that's actually stayed dead are back. Gwen Stacy was one of the longest running people to have stayed dead. She's back now, Spider-Gwen. It's an alternate universe, but at the same time, people don't stay dead in comics. So saying that a brutal death is greater than rape in a comic book is laughable at most. And you obviously haven't been paying attention to comics for the last 50 years. Because heck, even drug use is greater than murder in the comic books lately. Everybody can come back. And I don't understand this whole angry over change the cover. I laid it all out for you, all the facts. But these are all going to be ignored. Because people want to bitch about this right now. They want to bitch about stuff that are against their sensibilities now because it's the cool thing to do. GamerGate, listen to me. If you're not going to listen to a neutral, please listen to this, okay? And I'm saying from the bottom of my heart, you are becoming the people that you said that you hated. You said that SJWs and feminists attack people without facts. You are now doing the same exact thing. You're attacking movements and stuff like that because it's the cool thing to do. One of you have to start it so the other ones can rush in and do your thing. Why? This is about anti-state integrity. Nope, no, don't even give me that bullshit. No. Because when half the posts on Twitter is about artistic integrity and the other half are about SJWs and feminists, it is not about artistic integrity, and you fucking know it. You know it. This so-called GamerGate movement that I've defended in the past, that I've talked about in previous videos. Heck, I spent many videos trying not even to name you guys because I did not want to get pressure into this. You keep this going with change the cover, I will be joining the fight. And it's not going to be on your side. I want to stay neutral. I want to stay the heck away from this as much as I can. Because I don't want to fight you guys. I think you guys are awesome and cool and everything. But I bet you half the people that watch this video are going to thumbs it down in the first 5 minutes because I'm attacking GamerGate. I don't agree with a lot of on the anti-GamerGate side. But you keep attacking this when you're not that well informed about comics to begin with. I've already seen it in videos and stuff like that. Already blaming SJWs and feminists for this, when it's not. Because you decided to latch onto this movement and try to make it about something that was awesome, and I actually agree with. There needs to be ethics in video game journalism. Attacking DC for pulling a cover, that has nothing to do with your core message. But the thing is ethics in gaming journalism isn't your core message anymore. And that's what's turning a lot of people off right now. You're attacking feminists and SJWs, and I hate to say this, because I know somebody set me straight about the whole social justice warrior namesake in another video. It doesn't matter what GamerGate thinks it is what society thinks it is. And to society, a social justice warrior is an awesome thing. So when you're attacking like SJWs, you're going against people who have been victims of racism remarks. You're fighting against people like Martin Luther King Jr. And yes, if he was here today, he would be considered an SJW, according to your definition. And this is why the media and a lot of people don't like your movement. And I'm probably going to be attacked now by you. I was attacked last night for speaking my mind about this. I had one decent conversation with somebody last night. And I do appreciate you conversating with me. Because if this would have been a year ago and this cover would have dropped, and I would have pulled it up and like, why? But I wouldn't have started making a big fucking deal about it. Things happen in life. You're not always going to agree with them. So stop being little fucking babies and start growing up. Nobody cried to get this cover pulled. You did when you decided to throw a temper tantrum because the cover was getting changed on a comic book you probably don't even fucking read. But let me say it. I read the fucking comic. Back row is in my comic collection right now. It is in my pull tab at my comic book store, which I live at most of the time. If I'm not here at work, I'm probably most likely at the comic book store. But lately I've been here because I'm trying to get this whole YouTube video thing up and running and my live streaming up and running. But majority of the time, I'm usually at the comic book store because that's where I feel accepted and loved and everything. Even though I'm a girl, I've never felt out of sorts at a comic book store because my crew, the people down there are awesome. And they steered me right to awesome comic book collections. And I've read stuff that I probably wouldn't have even got into because I didn't like the cover. And yes, this is the last thing I wanted to think. Unlike video games, comic books are usually critiqued for their covers. So if you're going to have something, you know, a lot of people will come in and look at a cover and put it right back on because a girl has big breasts, it is scantily clad. Well, there's some kind of negative thing on the cover that's not going to draw consumers in. And that's what this is all about. It's drawing more new readers in and trying to keep your old readership there too. And that's the thing that you all forget. But you know what? I'm going to end this right now because I'm going on 25 minutes and this is more of a rant than I wanted to do, especially over 20 minutes. I didn't want to get like into the 50-minute range like I did the one time, but I did give you some facts. And if you want to dispute them, come on. I've already had one person try to dispute facts with me, and he shut up and hasn't contacted me since. Because he realized that the facts is the facts, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Most likely because he thought I was an SJW who's trying to defend the Horde. But I don't get it. You're going into a medium where you probably don't even have no idea, and I bet you half the people that freaking posted yesterday because of the comments about Gail Simone have no idea what they're even talking about. Because I've seen many people attack Gail Simone, who's not even freaking writing the book at the moment. Who has nothing to do with any title being done or anything. How about you look at facts before you start attacking stuff? And with that, I'm out. It's time for me to close this world and open the next.